Good evening and welcome to the Health and Fitness Show. My name is Leo Nazar. Those who don't know me, I'm a fitness instructor as well as a martial arts instructor. And I do a lot of sports therapy stuff as well. All right, tonight's show is going to be about health and fitness related issues, as it normally is. But tonight we're actually emphasizing on body weight loss. So basically, if you want to lose weight, tune in tonight and listen to the advice that you'll be given. By all means, you can always contact us at the office. Okay, our number here is 01582 481822. Or if you prefer to WhatsApp us, you can do that on 07779 481822. Right, without further ado, let's get on with the call. I haven't got any guests tonight, so I'm hoping to sort something out for the next show that I have. And I'm normally on the second week, which is on the Thursday, second Thursday of the month, on a regular basis. It's just I'm pretty tied up with my classes, you see. I'm also teaching martial arts, and therefore I have to get somebody to cover the class in order for me to make the show. So sometimes it does become, quite hard to do. Right, so coming back to the show, tonight's show is about weight loss and what exercises we can also do. So for weight loss, all we need to really do is, look at our body weights. And normally we have a rough idea of what we need to be. And that goes with the norm, looking at your height and weight ratio. Okay, so you look at your weight and you look at your height. And again, there's a simple balance that we need to create. And how that works is, there are different body types. So we don't just look at your height and weight ratio and your BMI and say, right, I'm really overweight, because my BMI is very high. My height isn't that great. My weight has actually gone up. So I have actually incorporated some exercises in order to put on weight. So, last time I was on the show, I was below 8. I was about 88 kilo, now about 10 kilo heavier. So, this is for my bodybuilding side of things. I do actually try to bulk up at times, then I lose weight for the summer, etc. So it helps me, obviously, on how I look. At the same time, it gives other people an idea to say, look, if he can do it himself, he can probably give us good advice, which helps me with my personal training. So going further into this, what we're trying to say really here is, when you want to lose weight, what we need to do is find the right food to eat first of all. So it's okay to say to someone, I've had that before on diets where people say, well, what diets work the best? What's the best for my stomach? Is there any exercises in that I should be doing? Which is what a lot of people were asking me before. What's the best exercise for a flat stomach? Well, to be honest, to get a flat stomach and to have a decent size, we need to have the right food. The diet is more important than exercise. I'm not saying exercise is not important, but twice as much is actually emphasized on what you eat. So yes, guys, that's correct. What you eat is what you are, as they say. So the more healthier you eat, the more fitter you'll become, and the more of a flatter stomach you should have. Obviously, genetics have a big key role in this as well. But the main thing to remember is the sugar content. That is what we're trying to reduce, if not try to cut out. People have asked me on diets, on low carb diets and no carbs as well. To me, no carb diet, I wouldn't advise. There's a certain limit and time that they actually say that they're done for. No carbs obviously means that we're starving our body of certain stuff that it needs to have, gives you energy. So the carbs will give you energy, especially the complex carbs. They store energy in your system, so they release it slowly, which means that you have, throughout the day, you're not lethargic, you don't feel like you're going to faint or be giddy. So these little things are very, very important. I've had people who do diets and they have regular headaches. Their head is pounding the whole day through, and they start to take tablets in order to compensate for that. So basically, it's your body trying to say to you that, listen, something isn't quite right here. So we need to be able to listen to our bodies. Having a good personal trainer, it doesn't really always do the job. You know your body better than the trainers. I've been training and teaching for over 20 years myself. So, I have a fair idea of how a body works. But every person is an individual, and their bodies all work, similar, but not the same. So when your body is telling you that, look, something's going to happen, I'm tired, you need to have a stop. You need to slow it right down, if not stop, just for a little while to get your breath back and then pick it back up. When you see the personal trainer shouting, go on, keep going, a few more reps. Okay. So yes, forced reps and these few more reps, they do make a big difference, to your fitness level. Okay. But what we're trying to say is when your body's actually saying, look, stop there, I'm really tired, something might give. If you're doing weights, for example, you might have a tear in one of the muscles after that. And that's going to take you back now. Now you're going to be maybe 3 to 6 weeks minimum away from training, or you have to watch how you train now. If you're going to carry on with training, a tear needs time to recover. Yeah. So this is why, this advice that you guys are getting, if you're not sure, obviously people have my phone number. I have a mobile number. Everybody knows it is, so you can ring on that, text me anytime. Up to midnight, I'm still normally awake. I don't mind that. Okay. Furthermore, you can always ring here. You all know the number here. You should know that by now. We've been saying it a few times. If you're not sure about the number, the office number is 01582 481822, or again, WhatsApp number 07779, and the same ending number 481822. So if those people want to private message me, want to ask questions, you can ring into the office, to the studio. Normally they send text messages, and we can try and get your questions answered if you have anything. So coming back to the side of diets, what diet and what should we do? Well, first thing to remember, a diet doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to stop this and stop that, and we know no sugar and no drinks and no fizzy. A diet means that we just need to clean up our body slightly. So that what we're going to do is look at the food that we actually consume in a day. And it needs to be a rough proportions, percentages of certain things. Yes, fat is important to have. Our bodies need fat to function as well. Okay, so if those people who have zero fat, it is hard for them. They're going to be very, very tired in the daytime. So there are percentages that we do have to have of certain fats in our body. Then you've got carbohydrates, you've got proteins. So these things need to be looked at. Normally, on average, we're looking about 60% of carbs in a body. Yeah. So no more than that would be the number of carbs. Just a rough, idea for you guys. So you those who don't know how much carbs we need to have. And again, carbs, those who don't know what carbs are, is short for carbohydrate. Carbohydrates can be coming in different forms. They can be either simple or they can be complex. Simple carbs are anything that gives you energy drinks, anything that has sugar in it, protein bars, chocolate, sweets, crisps. These are all simple carbs. Complex carbs, on the other hand, just like the name suggests, they're a bit more complex. That means basically complex carbs will give you energy, just like the other sweets and sugars inside them does, but it's stored in the system in your body. And it releases time to time, rather than obviously one blast of energy that you might need for something. Yeah, this will keep energy inside you and last throughout the day. Example, a jacket potato. So that has that's a simple carbs. That's a form of simple carbs. So I can give you other examples. That would be spaghetti, pasta, rice. These are things that will actually store energy in your system and slowly release throughout the day. which hopefully would mean that, you won't be hungry so quick, and little bits of energy will be released, which means you won't be so lethargic throughout the day. Protein is very, very important as well. Normally they say 20% to 25, up to 30%, even depending on what kind of athlete you are, how much protein to have. But on average, like I said, giving you rough percentages, maximum 60% would be the carbohydrates. And we're looking at probably about maximum of 25%, really here to 30% protein. Okay, so half the amount of carbs maximum would be the protein. And protein, again, those who don't know what protein is, protein comes in different forms. The more it is broken down in amino acids inside, the chains are broken right down, will be more easier for our bodies to be able to absorb them. So that's why, people have said to me, for example, when it comes to protein, what can we have? Now, protein is any kind of meat, contains a lot of protein, which is good for you. Again, there are certain meats which are not recommended. I think you guys know what that should be. That is normally the red meats. The white meats are a lot better. Okay, so chicken comes up number one. Fish, some people think, that's a meat. Some doesn't classify that under meat, but fish comes up very, very high with these omega 6 and omega 3s in there. Very, very good for your brain cells. Also very, very good for your skin, as well as for your joints. So when it comes to protein, I would normally recommend fish with one of the top ones with chicken. Okay, obviously eggs are okay as long as we don't have too much of the yolk. The yolk is a lot of protein as well in the yolk, but the same as the egg white and yolk are same amounts of protein in them if you break them down, but you find there's twice as much fat in the yolk content than would be on the white. So be careful on that. Certain things might give you high in protein, but they're also high in fat. So that's something we need to look at. Now, protein also, what does protein do? Okay, it increases our muscle, so density of muscle. Okay, what else does protein do? Protein gives us in a day, that also helps us recover. So if you have any injuries, okay, that helps us recover. That helps build the positive blocks in your body that help build muscle size, gives us more strength. That's quite important. Okay, then it's the fat side. Certain fats that we had, there's trans fats and all that. We're not going to go into that today. That's not the subject today, but just giving you an idea. Yeah, there's good fats and bad fats, and yes, they're advisable that we do have about 10%, maybe. If someone says slightly more than that, me are trying to keep that to minimum. Yeah, so if they're giving you rough percentages, I would probably go a little bit higher on the protein percentage, keep the carbs down a little bit, and the fats down. So we need to try to keep them no more than 10, 15% is a push on what we're actually, giving. So if you break that down, that's what the chain would look like, a triangle of fat. And in there you've got proteins, and in there you've got carbohydrates. And it's basic format really of what we need to build our body to keep it going. Now, the number of calories normally consumed for an average person, obviously, again, each body type is different, okay? But on average, what they say is it's about 3,000 calories for an adult male. For the female, it's slightly less in calories. They expect about 2,000, 2,500 as a push. And again, these are just rough figures when it comes to calories and consuming calories, depending on athletes as well. They change depending on how busy you're working, how active you are in the daytime also, or in the evening. It all depends on your lifestyle as well. So it's very, very important. So all these things must be taken into consideration, or should be taken into consideration, when we're trying to put a plan together of what we're going to eat. So in order to, like I said, tonight's show is mainly about weight loss. So in order to lose weight, what we need to know is how many calories on average we need to survive on, really. A lot of people I know, they eat one meal a day. Right, I've cut the calories down. Yeah, you have. Of course you have. Because normally, on average, if you look at how many calories you consume. If it was 2,000 in the day, you're having 4 meals. Just giving you a rough figure here so you can all understand this. It becomes 2,000 calories over 4 meals. That'll be 500 calories per meal. Now, if you're having that, but you're only having 1 meal, so it means you've had only 500 calories. Body won't function very well with only 500 calories if they recommend on average is 2,000. So again, then obviously you're walking to work, you're lifting stuff at work, you're using your brain at work. Even that takes calories, consumes calories. Yeah. So remember, when we're standing up, we're consuming more calories than we're sitting down. Our heart rate, while the higher it works, okay, the higher the beats, the more the calories. So when you're lying down and relaxing with your feet up, that's the minimum. The eyes closed, probably be the minimum calories that you'll be burning. Okay, so resting your heart rate is very important to keep right the way down in order to consume calories, rather than if you're trying to save calories, then we need to work a bit more active. So coming back to the calorie side, on average, if it's that many calories that you need to have in a day, we need to split them out throughout the day. So we're not having one big bulky meal in the morning like some people do and say, right, we've had breakfast, that's us done now, till late at night. That'll be when you finish work. You know, I do understand when you guys finish work, you can't wait to get home and probably to eat something. You know, maybe a family dinner, everybody sits down around the table, yeah, or on the floor in certain cases, and we all sit around and we eat as a family. Great. If that's what you're doing, I'm not saying to change that. What we want to do is try not to eat a heavy meal, especially a heavy meal, and then go straight to bed after that. You know, the body needs to be able to work some of that off. So if you're walking around, you're going up and down the stairs, you're doing something at home, you're a little bit active, is better. So try to make your last meal a little bit more sooner rather than later. You know, if you're going to bed at 9 o'clock, we don't want to eat at 8:30 and say, right, let's go to bed now. Okay, because what'll happen is when you wake up in the morning, then you know you're going to probably first start working, go to the gym, whatever you're doing. You're going to probably work off the calories that you put on the night before you actually start going into your deficit. So you know it's important to eat the right foods and really the right times. And what are the times? To be honest, a basic diet would be, so someone who's new and they want to do diet, they've never done a diet before, I suggest whatever you're eating already, the first thing to do would be cut down the sugar that you're adding. So if you're eating whatever you're having, say you're having cornflakes for breakfast, probably not the best. But if you're having that, for example, you're using full fat milk, I would first of all ask, to say, I would probably reduce that to the low fat. So now you're using the green top instead of the blue top. That's a start. You're having 2 spoons, hopefully teaspoons. I was going to say tablespoons, but if you're having 2 tablespoons, that's a lot of sugar. 2 teaspoons you're having of sugar with that, maybe cut that 50% down to 1 teaspoon to start with. So this is why it's important when we're doing diets, it's important to try to see what you've been doing. Don't completely go topsy-turvy 180 degrees and say, right, I'm going to be doing this. Yeah. Start to eat completely different and, change the whole diet, which you won't be probably able to do. Yeah. And what you might find is afterwards, when you finished your diet, you can't wait to go back on your sugar and your fat foods that you've been eating. And then now you've got more weight added on. Okay. Which you didn't have before. So remember, the very important thing to remember when you want to cut down weight is what you eat. Okay. And the amount you eat in one go. You're definitely better off to have small portions, throughout the day. I mean, I eat normally about 6 meals a day on average, but, and try not to pick in between those. So if you've got meal settings that you're doing 4 times a day, say for 4 meals on average, most people do 4 meals a day, then you need to bring the food content down if you want to lose weight on them. So the sugar content needs to come down. So if I was eating roti, most of the times I don't, but if you are, and I'm using white flour, maybe we can look for wholemeal flour. Not too much of a change of my lifestyle. Yeah, certain personal trainers will say, well, this is wrong. You shouldn't be having this. It's all good to say that, but when someone's never done a diet before and there's the first one that they're doing, you want to try to make it a little bit doable for them, a goal for them to actually set a goal for them that is going to be achieved. Okay, so then they can move to the next stage on the next time they decide to do one. And that's the way progression stage works. Okay. So my suggestion is, like I said, cut the sugar down. That'd be the best thing to do. And then from anything that you're having white, first stage, this is a complete basic stage of diets, would be onto brown. Brown's a lot more healthier than white. Yeah, when I'm talking about bread, rice, pasta, all this kind of foods I'm talking about here. So when you're having those and you've cut down from white to brown, that's already a positive move. If you're having sugar adding on to, even if you're having coffees and teas, what we try and do is bring the sugar down. So 2 teaspoons have become 1. So we are kind of reducing almost 50% sugars there, aren't we? If every time you have something sweet, we're only eating 50%. And the next thing to remember is as the day progresses, our body composition and how it works becomes more slower. So in the evening, more later afternoon, it gets worse, and in the evening is even more worse. Bodies are tired. They're not going to lose much calories now. So most of the work has to be done during that time. Now, most of the time you see people, they go to work between 9 and 5, 6. And when they finish work, most of them don't want to go to the gym. They don't want to exercise. Forget the gym. They don't want to exercise. And, I can kind of relate to that because I've been exercising all my life. So it's a little bit more different for me because I started exercise when I was really, really young. But most people, they normally ask me for advice when a doctor says you've got high blood pressure or you've got cholesterol level, it's gone really high, or then they start thinking, well, we better contact Leo and see what he can do. Guys, rather than it getting to that stage, what I would suggest you guys do is just naturally, you should be all trying to eat healthy, trying to get your kids to be able to eat healthy. Don't forget there are fruits and vegetables which are excellent for you. Green, when people say what vegetables, anything green is what I'd say. Yeah. And colorful looking carrots, sweet corn, anything like this, which makes it more colorful. Yeah. Is all positive things that we can have. Okay. So they should be added onto your meals. So if you're having 4 meals a day, you should be having, 3 times minimum off of the greens with it. And maybe at least twice in the daytime, apple, banana, whatever else, fruit wise. And again, certain things are quite important with fruit. I don't want to keep jumping from one thing to another. This is a generalization on what we eat to keep ourselves healthy today. So this is why we are kind of going back and forth from one thing to another. This is not specific. For an athlete, the diets are different. For someone who's trained for many years and who has done diets before, this is not probably the first stage I would use for you guys. This is for someone who's never done diets before, okay, and they want to lose some weight and they don't know what to do. This is for them. Okay, so they're going to just cut whatever they do. They're going to cut down the calories that they're consuming is the first thing. Yeah, they don't know how much calories they are. We're not going to go through basic food groups and tell you find out what you're eating and work out the calorie content. So what we're going to say is if you are overweight or you're not happy with your weight and you want to come down with your weight, the first stage is to cut down from white stuff that you have to brown. Brown, even if you're having sugar, brown sugar is better than white sugar. Yeah, brown bread is better than white, wholemeal bread, rye, all these other things you can add on to make it a little bit more appealing for you if you can, a bit more healthy. Every meal should have, hopefully every meal, apart from breakfast, I suppose, will have some kind of greens and vegetables with it. Yeah, so these things will make your body change. Body will get used to this after a few weeks. So the hardest bit is to change this for the first 5 days. Once you could do 5 days on this diet, okay, which is very hard. I'll be quite honest. People want to have a little chocolate in between. No. The way that it works is if you do need to have a chocolate, obviously depending on what you normally do, if you normally have 2, 3 chocolate bars in a day, we're going to aim at 1 now to start with. Yeah, so we're going to cut down all the sugars and everything that's not so good. At least we're dropping that down by 50%. So how it works is we don't have in-between meals. If we're looking to lose weight, what we're going to do is when we have our meal, we finish our meal, I fancy a chocolate, I'll eat the chocolate straight after I had my meal. Yeah, it's not going to be 2 hours later. Okay. So, and in between, if you need to snack in between for certain reasons, then your best thing to do is have some vegetables. Yeah. Even a salad. Okay, so these are the little things that we can have. Now, on the other part, we're coming up to a break. If you do need to call in, our number is 01582 481822, or WhatsApp us on 07779 481822. We're just going to have a quick break now, and we're going to be back in a few seconds. What we're going to do is on the other side of the break, we'll be talking about more exercises, a little bit more diet, but mainly on exercises as well. That'll help you reduce your weight and what the best ones are to do. So we'll hopefully see you on the other side of the break, and we'll carry on going through what else we need to do in order to lose our body weight.
This program will continue after the break. Continue listening to Inspire FM.
Inspire FM.
Inspire 105.1 FM.
Broadcasting in Luton and surrounding areas and globally on inspirefm.org. This is Inspire FM. Inspire FM.
AK Windows South Limited, manufacturers and installers of high-quality UPVC windows and doors, bifold doors, composite doors, conservatories, porches, skypods, fascias, guttering, and much, much more. We specialize in double glazing and triple glazing using the best German profile. If you want quality at affordable prices, AK Windows is the place to go. If your house needs a facelift, you know who to trust. For a free quote, call AK Windows today on 01582 483 777 or visit us at Unit 10E, Britannia Estate, Leagrave Road, Luton.
Looking for a law firm that doesn't treat you like you're just any client and charge you excessive fees? At MB Solicitors, we're not just interested in your case, we're interested in you. Our lawyers work to get you the right result with personal injury, immigration, family, and civil litigation services. At MB Solicitors, we won't treat you like a client, we'll treat you like the client. So call Luton 415-836 or visit mbsolicitors.com to arrange your free consultation today.
Had an accident, a bump, trip or fall? Then you need Claims Specialists, your first choice for accident claims. The Specialist Claims Company on Dunstable Road in Luton. With excellent access to expert solicitors and on a no-win, no-fee basis, Claims Specialists use their 30 years experience to help get you the best compensation possible. For injuries at work, taxi, PCO and private hire incidents, road accidents and vehicle damage, medical negligence, plus rented housing disrepair. In short, when you need to make any claim, click on claimspecialists.co.uk or call 01582 733 222.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Qala an-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, addil amanata ila man ni'tamanaka wa la takhun man khanaka. That you should fulfill the trust of the one who entrusts you and do not betray the one who betrays you.
Today, 6,000 children will be orphaned. 1 in 10 people will go to bed hungry. Right now, 2.2 billion can't access clean water. Human Appeal makes the most of your mercy, protecting orphans, feeding families, treating the sick, saving lives, and restoring hope. So please, give mercy now. Visit humanappeal.org.uk or call 0161 225 0225.
Oh, Hillary, I was going to use newspaper display advertising. But it costs £10 per inch.
And that's too expensive?
Oh, indeed it is. I want to sell a 10-foot ladder.
Oh, Roger, invest in an ear-catching advertising campaign on this radio station instead. It's a great way to tell people about your products and service.
For details, click on inspirefm.org, then advertise. From the studios of Inspire FM, the time is now 6:30.
Any health advice given, whether general, diet, physical, or spiritual, is general only and must be verified by your doctor. If you need medical advice, please consult a doctor.
Good evening, viewers. My name is Leo Nazar, and we're on the second part of the show now. Tonight's show was about health and fitness, obviously, but it's to do with body weight composition, losing body weight, and healthy eating. Those who don't know me, I'm an advanced fitness instructor, a personal trainer, and a sports therapist, as well as a nutritionist. So I have a fair idea on how to advise people on how to lose weight or how to increase body mass, and anything to do with training. I'm also a martial artist, so we teach a few different martial arts, and I have my own place where I run everything from. Right, so without further ado, coming back to the show, in the earlier part of the show, we actually went through the basic diets for someone who's never done a diet before, and very quickly we're going to summarize that. And that would be, if you've never done a diet before and the first time you're doing it, the first thing to do is look at what you're eating, cut down the sugars that you eat. So if you're eating anything sweet, trying to cut that down 50%. That means 2 tablespoons or 2 teaspoons of something becomes only 1. Okay, anything that you're eating that's white bread, pasta, which is white, these are higher in carbs, which means that they have more fat content in them, will increase your calories. We're going to drop down to whole meal pasta, for example, whole meat bread, rye. I use linseed bread if I have bread. Bread is not the best thing. It does help to increase weight, but if you are going to have bread, then obviously those berries would be a lot more beneficial for yourself. Same as rice. I've had people ask me before about pilau rice. That's not brown rice. That is white rice colored to make it look brown. So it turns brown on the contents that they actually use inside when they cook the rice. So brown rice is different. Yeah. I've had brown rice before, very bland, doesn't taste like much, but very, very good. I felt a lot different after eating brown rice than I used to have plain white rice. I don't feel so full and doesn't fill me up for that long, which is quite good. It gives me positive energy and I feel like I can move a lot more quicker and easier by having that. So basic things to remember for your basic diet would be cut the sugar down. Okay, and cut down from white to brown stuff. So you're going to be eating more brown pasta, like I said, and rye adding onto your system. Add on that to what you normally have. Your salads, again, very good. Anything green, salad, vegetables. I don't need to name the vegetables. You all know what they are: cabbage, Brussels, anything at all that's green should be added onto your diet that you're doing. What you're eating, you should be having part of that. Apart from breakfast, like I said, you can have that. A good breakfast. Very quick examples of what we should be eating. Finishing off on this before we go into a bit of training, would be best breakfast for morning would be porridge. Okay. Not my favorite, okay, but I normally have the sachets and I add them with a milkshake. Saying milkshake, I don't use any milk. I actually use water. And this is something for you guys. Even though the name just suggests milk adding to your shake, really for losing weight like this, and depending, first thing in the morning, you need the energy, and maybe I would have a shake, add milk, okay, because you've got the whole day that you're positively working, actively working probably, yeah, physically or mentally demanding work, maybe depending on what you do. So that's going to take up calories. So we need to be able to refresh ourselves. So that'll give us some energy that'll be stored in our body to use up for the rest of the day. But when you're working out and we're doing other stuff and we're having milk is probably not the best thing, full fat. So that would be half fat milk. So the good breakfast would be porridge, okay, hopefully with water, but again, low fat milk will suffice. Eggs is another form of having breakfast, which is nice. With the eggs, remember what I said earlier on, the egg yolks are twice as much fattening, even though the protein level is the same. it by having the yolk obviously doubles the protein that it contained in an egg, but it also doubles the sugars. So, and cholesterol becomes higher as well, content. So we need to be able to cut down on that. But that's another alternative to having just porridge. Toast. Yes, you can have a toast. Normally with a bit of jam will give you a bit of energy. Like I said, first thing in the morning. Peanut butter is normally recommended as well. So you could have a brown bit of toast with peanut butter, okay, to cover you instead of having the porridge. But these are normally the best things that you can have for breakfast. Yeah, some people have a little bit of fruit in the morning. I think that's very good to start as well. Can't have vegetables in the morning, so fruit would be a good thing to do. I've had people ask me about tomato juice. Would that be all right for the morning? Some people mix up some vegetables and they actually blend them together. Yes, if you can do that first thing in the morning, there's nothing wrong with that at all. And then throughout the day, obviously, you're going to eat maybe no kind of munching on anything for 3 hours. So really, we should be aiming to, eat 3 to 4 hours time. Okay, if you're looking to be on a diet. If you can make that long, that's great. What would be your next meal of tuna, maybe tuna pasta? That was another little meal again that we can have, which will be, you got some, and add some vegetables to that maybe. All right, or some salad. These are very, very important. Tuna sweet corn will do, but remember, trying to cut down on on the extra bits that sometimes people put in, which is the sauces. I've said this before on many of the shows, just a good guideline, the lighter the color of the sauce, the more fattening it normally is and more not so good for you. I like salad cream and that's fairly light, but mayonnaise is a lot lighter than that and it's much more fattening. So just be careful on what you have. If you're used to having mayonnaise on every time you have pasta or whatever, then just cut it down 50%. Yeah, maybe just half as much as you normally put on. So that's another way of looking on how we're gonna. So we're gonna try to keep similar foods that we've been eating if it's your first diet. Okay, but what we're gonna do is if we're eating bad, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to eat that earlier. So like I said earlier on the first part of the show, that the first part in the morning, your body's always up and ready to go. Okay, so it's full of energy. That's the time that you can easily lose more calories. What happens is after lunch, and especially in the evening, metabolism slows right down, which then means that losing calories becomes a lot more harder to do. Body's tired, people want to have a rest, and you've been working all day, most people. So it does become very, very hard to do. But that's what we're trying to do. So I had one of my friends before, I said this on a show before, and I know because I've said this before, this is a true story. The guy likes trifle. Obviously, my friend, whoever he is, probably remember who it was. He's the only one that likes trifle. And he asked me, what do you think about that? I have to have it every day. I'm not going to manage without that. So I said, no problem. Of course, if you want to have your trifle, of course you can. It's not going to affect the diet that much, but we're going to change the time you have this trifle. He used to have it the worst time possible, just before bed. No, I said, I like to do the opposite with that. Maybe when you wake up, part of your breakfast will be your trifle. Okay, so you put the fat into your system. Okay, no problem. You've got the rest of the day to lose that by being active. So it's simple as that. So, he doesn't have to stop the foods that he likes. He just has to slightly tweak up his diet where he has to at least, change the times he has that, change the amount that you have that. So these little tweaks make a big difference overall. A little tweak here and a little tweak there overall forms a nice picture that you will be happy with. Okay. So I'm not saying, follow this diet and you're going to have six pack. That's not how it works. Okay. That's also part of body composition and it's also hereditary, depending on how your body works and, how much fat content that you can, you actually hold on to. There is also water fat. So, you got to be careful when we're losing weight, what we're actually trying to do. Calorie deficit is a good start by dropping the calories down, but we have to still eat a healthy food and balance the diet that we have. Like I said, with the carbs and the protein and the vegetables and salad. So that covers the diet side. People have asked me before, just going to say this now because I'll probably forget, was about protein shakes. How important are protein shakes and must we have them? To be honest, the answer is no. You don't need to have protein shakes. Okay, an average person who trains, who goes to work, who eats, fairly healthy, doesn't need any protein shakes. Protein is in your food. Okay, so all the food that you have, there's enough protein in there if you're eating the right foods, yeah, to last you. Now, depends on how many grams of protein that you need to have. Okay, minimum 1 gram per person's body weights. So if you're 100 gram, if you weigh 100 kilo, because it's 1 kilo. So if you're wearing that, so 1 pound, 1 pound would be 1 gram, okay, of protein. So for example, if I'm 200 pounds, probably heavier than that at the minute, but if I was 200 pounds, I'll be aiming to get very minimum protein would be at that much protein. So that would be 200 grams I would be looking at. Okay, so it depends on how much your weight is in kilo. Okay, and then that's how much protein that you should be having in grams. So normally on average, like I said, if I give you an example, an average tuna can, the smaller one, top of my head, that's probably about 26 grams of protein. Okay, which isn't bad. Okay, most people in a day, an average person, again, you need probably at least 100 grams minimum of protein in a day, at least. Okay, so we need to aim for that sort of figure. And like I said, 1 tuna can would cover you, or if you're having 4 meals minimum, so that would be coming up to close to that. Again, nuts will have protein in it, so there's other foods that also have a lot of protein. Doesn't necessarily have to be through meat. Okay, eggs have protein in it. So answering the question of how important is it that we have to have milkshakes or protein diets, and do they help? Well, they do help, but what I'm saying is that everything's normally in your food. So if you eat correctly, you don't need to have protein shakes. Then again, we're looking at advanced diets, and people who are athletes, it's a little bit different for them. I know people that train 2 to 3 times a day. They're professional athletes. This is what they do. So they're burning up all the calories. So they need to consume the calories to burn them. So basic formula would be number of calories consumed in a day, yeah, taken in, and how much is actually been used up equals what's remained. What's remained left in your body is what will decide whether you're going to put on weight or whether you're going to be losing weight. So remember, and I've said this to many ladies before, they go on a diet and they have breakfast and they won't have anything to eat the rest of the day. So they've cut down from 4 meals to 2 meals, which is what I did say. You're going to have to cut down, but the timings are so far off that you need to eat every 3 to 4 hours. So if 4 hours have gone, that's a long time with that food. Normally with me, it's 2.5 hours is a long time, but on average, 3.5 hours to 4 hours is a long time without having any food. Okay, so you need to make sure that you don't go past that time. You need to have a little something. So I would suggest minimum, for people, food-wise, would be 3 to 4 meals a day. And again, depending on how late you go to bed, if you come home and you're not going to spend much time and you go to bed at 8, 9 o'clock, well, then maybe 3 meals will cover you, suffice for the whole day. On average, it's about 4 meals a day. 3 to 4 hours apart would be each meal. 3 hours apart would be 12 hours in a day that you all might be awake. So that's how it will work. So remember the time elapsed between meals is very, very important. What happens? Your body starts going into starvation mode, okay, and starts eating away at your muscle to get the energy because you're not putting in fuel. So that's another thing to remember. Now, I want to touch a little bit onto the training side as well before we finish the show tonight. Again, very basic diets we went through today, very, very basic for someone who's starting new, wants to lose weight, so they have an idea of what to do without spending loads and loads of money. Okay. The next thing is training. Training is very important. Training will take up to 30%, 33%, really, a third of what you look like. So if you train extremely hard and whatever else, it doesn't mean that we're going to start getting all the six pack. It means that our body will change, of course. How we train, what we train with, and how intensified it is will make the difference. Now, for a beginner who's never done any training before, we recommend to start with about 30 to 45 minutes every other day. So I'd say in a week, you're doing 3 times a week. minimum 35, 40 minutes would be your minimum time I'd expect you to do some kind of training. Again, we start off light, could be just a brisk walk. If I've never done any training before, I don't normally go for a 40 minute walk, to be honest. The last time I went for a hour walk, 2 hour walk plus was tabbing when I was with the military. But that's because I had to do it. My choice, really, if I had a choice, which we do have, I don't really go for a walk for over 2 hours and that normally, no. And, so when people say we've not done any training, go do a bit of a walk. Yeah, it makes a bit of a difference. If you've never done any training and you've never done any walking, you only just go back and forth to school run or whatever, then yes, time yourself 35 to 45 minutes walking. Yeah. If you get tired, slow the pace down. If you get extremely tired, obviously have something to hydrate with, water, probably the best. Have a seat, sit down, have a little rest, recuperate, and then carry on. Look at the time that you've done. Oh, you've done 20 minutes. I was so tired after 20 minutes. I had to have a little rest. You might have had a 4 or 5 minute rest. That's fine. Finish off with another 20 minutes. And that'd be your first session. Yeah. So this is how it works. We do a progression stage. So you're doing that maybe for the first 2 or 3 weeks. After 4 weeks, the diets normally change. Same as the exercises normally change. When people ask me for diet advice and whatever else, we don't keep the same diet for 3-4 months. We change it. Body needs to have change in order for it to positively react to that. And therefore, the changes are good and considerable. And they look that, yeah, you feel like you've done something. Otherwise, body gets used to the training that you've done. I know a lot of people that kept the same routine and they're still doing it to now. And they've done it for over a year or 2 years. Every 3 months, need to change. That's the maximum time I would keep on one kind of routine that I've had. Yeah. So it's important and imperative that we do some kind of training. Walking is quite straightforward. But most people I know, I've seen a lot of ladies going through walks and walking up, through town centre and that. That's probably the most easiest exercise that you'll be able to do because naturally we have to walk. Naturally people don't run. Naturally they walk. Everywhere you go, you see people walking. You'll see more people walking than you see running, obviously, because it's natural. This is what we do. So you need to burn off more calories by walking. And, that's the other thing. People don't have over an hour minimum to go walking every day or every other day. Yeah. So they can be a bit more active. Okay. And bring the time of actual training down. Okay. But burn more calories. And that now becomes a little bit more intensified. Okay. So swimming is another one, natural body. And, some of these classes that they do, right, I think are really, really good. They do water Zumba, stuff like this inside the water. They get I've seen the little foam weights that they give you and you do a class. And before you know it, 40 minutes have almost gone by, 35 to 40 minutes. And you've been kicking around in the water and everything else. And you're losing calories and you enjoyed yourself. That's something that I would advise people to do. Okay. Very few people that I know actually spend time going swimming. Very, very important body weight exercise. Yeah. Which helps you lose a lot of weight. Okay. I know a lot of people who are powerful at the gym couldn't do a length of swimming. They get tired after about 2 lengths. All right. So that's very, very important because certain muscles you haven't used, by walking, or lifting weights, which you'll definitely use when you're swimming. It works the entire body when you're swimming. So that would be something I recommend for you guys to do. So on average, you'll be training 35 to 40 minutes every other day. You could start with body weight exercise if you haven't got any weights. Simple push-ups, for example. People who can't do push-ups, start with box push-ups. Yeah. Then improve into 3/4 push-ups. And again, I did videos a few years back where I actually demonstrated the basic things and we recorded it for you guys to see. I won't be doing that tonight. I might make it a little bit more interesting one for the next month that I do. And therefore I'll show some positive action and with you guys so you guys can see some positive practical work getting done rather than just sitting here getting you guys bored. So trying to make it interesting. I'll trying to sort out a guest for next time show, maybe make it a bit more positive for you guys to be able to ring in the studio, ask for advice. I know a lot of people don't normally ring in on my shows But I know a lot of people who are driving around listening, and they say, "Oh, we recognize your voice." So hopefully, I'm doing something for the community. Is my really aim here. If I can help and advise someone, and that's a big thing for me. I trained and done a lot of courses all my life to keep fit and active and whatever, and I like to give this back to the community. So I hope you guys this is positive for you guys. If you want anything, or you want advice, or you don't want something changed, or you want something changed, by all means ring them here at Inspire. They can pass a message on to me. No problem. If you guys know my number, most people do. Just ring me on my phone. That's not a problem on that. Coming back to the number here at the office. Okay, we're at Inspire. We all know where we are. It's Inspire FM 105.1, those who don't know. And it's 01582 481822, or WhatsApp number is 07779 481822. Okay, so training wise, we need to try to intensify the training every few weeks. So what we do for the first week, second and third week slightly changes from when you get to week 6 and 7. Okay, so the gains become quicker, less time, rest time maybe. Okay, maybe they intensify the exercise rather than doing 10 reps, then 10 reps. I mean, a lot of people, 10 reps seems to be a figure they've got from somewhere, and they're always doing 10 reps, 10 reps, 10 reps. That's okay, that works. But what we need to do is to progress from there. We still can do the 10 reps, but we have to then alter the weight or the exercise, the angle of what we're trying to do, from hit that muscle from a different angle. Okay. Very quickly, I'm going to go through stomach, because people always ask me about best exercise for stomach and how to, because, obviously that's where you notice the most fat. Okay. Now that will, number one, sort itself out quicker, a lot quicker, by what you eat, how you eat, when you eat, your lifestyle. So basically covering that will be on the diet. Diet doesn't mean cut food. It means food-wise, what you eat. That is very important. So if you get that right with the number of, what we went through earlier on, carbs and proteins and your sugar content coming down and your fruits and vegetables, then that should be quite good. You'll automatically see your body changing without much exercise, by doing the food, eating the food correctly, having the diet that you should have, the times that you eat. Like I said, when you don't want to eat and then go straight to bed. So try to have that last meal a little bit more sooner if you're going to go to bed earlier. Okay. Have a good, strong breakfast. Very important. Starts the whole day off with a good breakfast. So training wise, what else can we do? We don't want to go to the gym. Gym, everybody knows. You go to the gym, there's always someone there. Yeah, break this, whatever. Fine. If you've never been to the gym before, don't worry too much about what the trainers are saying. You basic advice I've given you: follow a routine, set up a routine that you're doing your all body exercise. Have different exercises for different body parts. And they are, we break them down normally to, I think there's 7 basic components that they've broken them down to: chest and back. Then you got your biceps and your arms. Pardon me. Then you got the legs, biceps, triceps are separate. Then you got your shoulders. All right. Legs, they do as one. So you need a complete day when you're doing legs. Legs is a big muscle group. You got 4 on the top part of your legs, your quadriceps 4, hamstrings 3, 2 at the bottom. Yeah. So you got quite a few muscles, on your legs. So they all need to be worked. So it takes a very demanding day when you're doing legs, but very, very important. I've seen people walking from one end of the swimming pool to the other. Great exercise. Very good for legs, very good for your stamina as well. So coming back to what was said about what's the best exercise for your stomach, exercise-wise, there ain't no best exercise for stomach. You have to hit the stomach from different angles for it to positively react to that. And how that works is different. You got top muscles of the stomach, you got the middle, and you got the lower abs. Yeah. So we worked all the different muscles. We got the obliques coming from the sides. Okay. So we need to turn our body to the side in order to work those as well. Okay. Toe touch, heel tucks, like I do touches. When I come off the floor, raise your shoulders off the floor, touch your heels with your hand. These are little other exercises that you can add on. But normally you'll be more surprised by eating correctly, how much difference you will look around the stomach area, rather than doing the most hardest exercises, the hardest angles, and trying to, hit the stomach from so many different angles. for it to work. Yeah, like I said, exercise with any body part, whether it's legs or back or stomach, will work by hitting different angles and making high intensity work. Of course it does. But as an overall percentage, it's about 35%. 65% of that is your diet. So what you eat is more important than how much and how you train. Right, guys, we're coming very, very, very quickly. We're coming to the end of the show now. So we've only got less than a minute left. So I just want to say thanks to all my fans and all the people that are here that listen to the show. Please, if there's any questions, any other things that you wanted to, by all means, you can always contact them here on 01582 481822 and let them know, look, this we want the show to be about this next time. We want Leo to discuss this. We've got questions for him. I'm more than happy to help. Okay. Right, we're running out of time now, so I'll probably see you on the next show, which will probably be in 4 weeks' time.